Flavors and Knowledge is a bilingual podcast focusing on gastronomic education in relation to a healthy lifestyle through food first. Our philosophy carries a moral obligation of sharing sensible knowledge to generate social awareness. Podcasts are in English with an accent and Italian.
Dear friends and listeners, welcome back. This is Chef Walter with another edition of Flavors and Knowledge. In this particular episode, I'd like to talk to you about an experience that I've endured about a couple of weeks ago. I live in the city of Providence, and I usually meet with my Italian friends at a place called Roma Gourmet, which is located on Federal Hill, the Italian section of the state. We meet for morning cappuccino, perhaps a chat about life here in the States, and we run across the latest developments in our motherland. On most mornings, often around 11 a.m., the conversation shifts to food. The time of proximity to lunchtime is crucial to aged, retired Italians. They begin staring at their watches and continue to do so until just about 20 minutes past 11, the time where all of them get up simultaneously and, with somber apology, leave the premises. You probably guessed it. It's lunchtime. The world would undoubtedly end if Italians did not sit at a table precisely at noon. So often ridicule ourselves about the cooking of the regions we came from, and proudly displayed nationalism through food. I was always intrigued about Italy's street food and asked my Italian compari for their memorable childhood snacks. On one occasion, I asked a gentleman from the city of Palermo if he would be interested in teaching us the process of making le panelle, a typical street snack from Sicily. And, equipped with excitement and a great sense of discovery, we met at one of my restaurants nearby. Filippo Napoli from Sicily brought his homemade wine, while I offered some cheeses variety and some aged salami. Next, we had a friend named Paolo Misuraka from the region of Calabria, who showed up ready to indulge. And Carmine, called also the professor, I'm not sure why, from the region of Lazio, sat at the bar, watching soccer while we all began drinking. A few minutes later, we all shifted to the kitchen where the Panelle King was performing his magic. His name is Franco Lobuono, also known as Dotto, which is a diminutive of the doctor. He is not a doctor and never went to a medical school, but years ago he was involved with a soccer team, and his job was to alleviate the physical ailments of the players. I was one of the players, and I am confident that those ailments never went away. Franco was born in Palermo and learned the art of making le panelle from his grandmother. He fried them lightly and with a paper towel removed the excessive oil residue. He then placed them in a large platter and kept them warm until he sliced large soft rolls and filled them with the oily panelle. They were terrific, different, but most of all they gave us that great feeling of sharing the art of communicating food. Of course, through conversations and several quarts of homemade wine, we also discovered the history of this glorious Sicilian snack that Franco prepared in the kitchen. He said The panelle represents one of Palermo's most well-recognized street food, the fried version of something called farinata di ceci, chickpea flour, which is offered elsewhere in Liguria and diverse areas in northern Africa. These miniature and flat pancakes are a testimony of the history of the people from the Mediterranean basin. Around the 9th and 11th centuries, the Arabs, while dominating Sicily, already featured a mixture of water and fine chickpea flour cooked in terracotta pots until dense and creamy. Then it was flattened and fried into small pieces, hence the Sicilian proverb, pari na panelle. It looks similar to a panella, was referred to as an object which had the misfortune to be flattened by excessive weight. Palermo, Sicily offers several characteristic snacks, often accompanied by cazzilli, a version of potato croquettes. You can find them everywhere in the typical friggitorie, those fried food places which adorn the streets of the city, or perhaps in the famous street carts, which you can find on any busy street and historical center. The second most important ingredient is the frying oil quality and constant temperature monitoring, in addition to the well-kept secret recipe. In addition to panelle, Palermo offers other succulent street foods such as boiled octopus, stigiole, which is a section of the intestine of goat and lamb, certainly not very popular here in the States, and something called sfincione, also known as pizza Sicilian style. All of them are available in different quarters of the city, and each vendor specializes in the preparation, which is usually passed on from previous generations. So if you happen to be in Palermo and you happen to walk in the market such as La Vucciria, which is the most dominant market, although they have a couple of others, you can stop or have lunch while you're walking with some of these wonderful street foods, something like the panelle, the stigiole, perhaps your typical croquette, and other stuff that you may see along the way. I do have a recipe here for you, and it serves 4 to 6. So let's begin, and I carefully share it with you. You're going to need half a pound of chickpea flour, 1.5 teaspoons of salt. You need 2 tablespoons of fresh parsley, possibly minced, sunflower seeds for frying, or straight olive oil. As far as the procedures, it's not very complicated at all. In a pot, dissolve the chickpea flour in 4 cups of cold water. Add the salt, parsley, and cook over medium heat, often stirring, for about 20 minutes. You want to cook that chickpea flour so that you will remove the raw taste. At the end, it will resemble a yellowish farina. It looks uncooked, but it really is. This is probably the most interesting aspect of making panelle, the mixture and also the cooking part of it. Once that's done, remove the pan from the heat and spread the mush of a large baking sheet, allowing to cool slightly, spreading it evenly until it reaches about 1/8 of an inch thick after cooling and drying a bit but still warm. Then create a circle of about 4 inches in diameter. Heat the oil for the deep frying to 360 Fahrenheit. You can deep fry the panelle until you achieve a golden color, about 1 minute on each side. Drain on the paper towel and serve warm on bread or just stand alone. I can guarantee you that as you're making the panelle, along the way you will be eating them. Make a double batch, just to be sure. And that does it for this episode of Flavors and Knowledge about the panelle, the classic Sicilian, or I should say snack street food from Palermo. Follow Flavors and Knowledge on Anchor.fm or any of your preferred platforms. If you have time, look us up on YouTube under the Chef Walter Cooking School page. We have a series of lovely videocasts all about food, health and wellness, and food education. And if you're in the kitchen today or tonight and making the panelle, always keep your eyes on the fire, stay well, and be safe. We'll reconnect on the next round. Ciao, ciao.
Flavors and Knowledge is brought to you by Chef Walter's Cooking School in Cranston, Rhode Island. For classes, workshops, events, and programs, please visit our website at chefwalterscookingschool.com. For all other services offered by Chef Walter's Food Group, check out our main website, chefwalter.com.